So welcome to a funded trader chat with Alexis. Who do I have with me today? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Robert. So I used to be a soldier, so that's how I actually got in Germany on the Berlin time zone. So I served in the military for about 5 years, and then I got out and stayed overseas, and then finished school, started working, and then right now I'm a full-time financial counselor for soldiers.
That's amazing. So tell me about how you got your start in the trading in your trading career. What was the initial draw towards that? I know you're in the financial field, but what was that initial spark for you?
Actually, it's funny because I was actually looking into stocks. So I was into Robinhood before the whole fiasco happened. And you was refer a friend, you get a free stock. So then one of my childhood friends, Aaron, I sent him the link and he was like, "Hey, have you thought about Forex trading?" I was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "You should look into it." So I was like, "All right." And he was part of the IML Academy thing. And it didn't fit me, so I didn't push for it. So I looked into it and I was like, oh snaps. And I started looking deeper, looking at the charts, MetaTrader, and I was already into stocks. So I was like familiar with the market and stuff. So then I just fell in love with it. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. So I just kept going with it.
That's incredible. I love that story. So how did you hear about Smart Prop Trader in the first place? What led you here?
Um, uh, so of course I was looking at multiple YouTube channels and following people that trade, and of course CEO Blake, his page. So I was on his page a lot, and he was doing the reviews of prop firms and everything, and then trading. He was doing a lot of interviews with the CEOs, and then he said he's going to come out with his own. Like he was going to start a prop firm, and I was like, "Oh snaps!" So I was like, I just kept following his page until he finally came out with it, and then I jumped in, and I loved it ever since.
That's amazing. I always love hearing how people find themselves, in a smart prop traders community. It's so cool to reach so many people. So we're super happy to have you on board with us. Let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we? So let's talk about your trading strategy and approach. Where did it start? How has it evolved? Just tell me a little bit about that.
So my trading has extremely evolved. Actually, my very first trade was on May 1st of 2020, so about 3 years ago,
Wow.
and it was on GA, and I lost. And I was like, okay, it wasn't. I opened like $100 account, and I just opened up a random trade because I was trying to think that I control the market, which I learned real fast that I don't control the market. So then I know a lot of people say don't strategy hop, don't stick with one strategy. And for me, I had to strategy hop because of my lifestyle, and I had to figure out which strategy actually worked for me. And because it may work for you or somebody else, it doesn't mean it's going to work for me. And I give kudos to everybody and everything. However, I just had to strategy hop around. And then also with family, and actually, I'm about to get married in November, actually. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So balancing that, my child, full-time work, and then trying to trade. So I tried trading in the afternoon after work, a little bit during work whenever I caught a break, after work, late at night. And then I was like, I need to maximize my time. So I started getting up super before work. So I'll trade before 4 and 5 in the morning. So, and I know people say don't use indicators, they're lagging and XYZ. However, it makes clear sense to me. So I use the TDI indicator mixed with the a triple SMA, so the 50, the 10, and a 140, just so I can just gauge where market is at and where it might reverse that and stuff. And my strategy basically is I'll get up in the morning at 4, I'll look at trading view. If the fin didn't break the plane, then I just go back to sleep. And then if it does, I'll go downstairs to my trading area. And then between 4 and 5 o'clock, I'll just watch price. I'll just look at what's going on, and then I'll enter. And now that I understood that I don't control the market, I'm just here on for the ride. I just enter it. I have a fixed stop loss. It's set. It's no matter what I open, it's going to be that same one on GA. I only trade GA now. So it's fixed. I know the lot sizes. I know everything to be comfortable with risks and everything. And then I just open it. I set my TPs. I have my notifications. And then I just wait for at least, I'm not the trader to wait for it to extend all the way out. So like if I see I'm up a good decent amount of profit, I'll start trailing a stop loss because I've tried both ways to let it run, to not let it run. And I just had to get okay with, if I don't let it run, I have to be okay with missing the larger moves. And I was like, I'm okay with that because at least I locked in something and I could be proud of that for myself.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of this industry, right? Is like you've found a strategy that you've been able to implement within your everyday life, right? Like that's you
Yeah.
found, okay, I have to set aside this time to do this, and that's what you want to do. And that's the beauty of the flexibility of this industry. So that's incredible. You kind of touched on this, but so how do you manage risk, and how do you know how did you learn what you're comfortable with losing and managing that risk on a day-to-day basis?
So I risk pretty much 1%. I've done like as I went through learning how to trade better over the last 2 years, I've risked 3 to 4%, 1%, 0.5%, all the percentages you could think of. I've blown accounts, I've blown challenge accounts, and I think for me, I look at it now as like a journey and investment in myself, because if I would have stopped, then all that have been for nothing. And I even told myself plenty of times, like if you quit, just forever quit, don't ever come back, don't come back down the line, it's useless, just start somewhere else. And I was like, nope, I'm going to do this, I'm gonna keep fighting. And then I just stuck with 1%. I was like, I'm still within the 4 to 5% drawdown per day, and then I can keep my account for longer than if I go a good 3 4 days without a winning trade. One winning trade can really bring me back to life. I had to get used to not always looking at the bigger number. Even though I'm a finance guy, that kind of, my brain had to readjust to that. Once I got used to that, I was like, 1% is good, because I could change that 1% to 1.5 to 2 to 3 based on what GA wants to do for the day.
That's incredible. So within this, how do you stay on top of like market trends and news? Do you trade news? Like what's your approach with the market and the trends, and how do you decide to trade in certain times?
So with news, I used to dabble in news, NFP, CPI, FOMO. I follow Jerome Powell. Every time he talks, I just have it playing in my headphones while I'm doing something, and then I'll have the market just so I can watch. I got burned plenty of times and I won plenty of times. And then I had like finding my strategy with work. I was like, with my work all the time, when news hit, I'm at work. So there's no guarantee. I can't tell a client, wait. Like I'm gonna have to tell you to wait for your finances so I can work on mine. That's kind of rude.
Fair enough.
So basically I just watch it. I'll just look at what price is doing. If I have time to look at it, I'll have my phone up and I'll just look at TradingView as market or MetaTrader, and I'll just see a market is moving. I was like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. And I know that I only trade one trade. So I'll enter that one trade. I may open up another trade. I just have to see how the market is looking and how I feel. And whether that trade is a win or loss, then I wait till the next day.
Got it. So do you feel like you are at an advantage as a prop trader with the industry that you're in? And do those ever cross over for you?
Yes. So at first it was a battle in my head because I'm an accounting major too. So I budget. I done work with large budgets. Now I'm working on a personal level of budgeting. So I'm used to seeing big numbers and spending big numbers, and looking at small numbers and spending small. So the gap between it is like, and now I can see I'm in the industry where I can make either or. So in my head, I had to readjust, like, hey, one day the big number is gonna hit one day. Don't try to force it every trade, just build up to it. So I use some of my knowledge from school and work to better myself with trading, to like, hey, compounding is actually good. Don't try to go for $20,000 as first trade. It'll come eventually. Just let it build up, and I can see it faster getting to 20,000 if I just take the smaller portions, which adds up faster.
That's so cool. So within all of this, how do you deal with like the pressure and the stress of trading? I mean, you're in this, I feel like you're just numbers going through your head all day long. Like, how do you take a break? Like what do you how do you manage your headspace throughout all this?
So whenever I'm a gamer too, so I play video game. That's my disconnect. So I play World of Tanks. It's kind of like the Call of Duty version in tanks. So I play World of Tanks and Diablo as well. So especially like some mobile games as well. So whenever I get overwhelmed, like I'll look at the market and I was like, get out of the market. I was like, stop looking at the market. You're not going to get into it. So just let it go. You can look at this tomorrow if there's a trade or whenever there's another trade. Just play a video game and it'll take my head away. And then I'll just disconnect fully. I just play my video games. And then once I'm done with that, I was like, hey, okay, I'm good.
So definitely knowing when to take a step back, right? I feel like that's probably a struggle for a lot of people is over
Yeah.
trading, feeling like they have to always be in and on, right? That's so
Yes.
you've got it down to a science. That's great.
So with the over trading, I definitely have fallen guilty of that numerous of times in my trading career, and like that's when I had to like cut the hard stop of like I had like the come to Jesus moment, like, hey, if you continue to do this, you're going to continue to lose money and money and money every time. Just because you have the means to continue to buy trading like challenge accounts, that doesn't mean to do it that way. You should want to scale up instead of just keep scaling down. So I used to, because I would like look at the charts and I was like, oh, I could just get in right here. It looks so good. Then I'll get into the trade and it instantly reverse. Then I'll try to get in more and more and it just keeps going, 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 going. And then I blow the account. So I had my deep, 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 like fair share of overtrade. And I just had to come to a realization, like, if you keep doing this, just fully forever burn everything you knew about Forex and never look back again.
And sometimes that needs to happen, right? You got to get to that
Mm-hmm.
point where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. You know, that's how you learn and really hone in on a strategy. So, oh, sorry that happened, but I'm
Oh,
sure that was a good moment for you, a good learning experience for you, for sure. Are you able to walk me through a recent successful trade that you made and share any factors that may have contributed to that success?
yeah, sure. And actually, it was one yesterday. I only look at the 15 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily on up. I tried the 1 minute, the 5 minutes, and the 30 minutes. I just with my trading strategy now, what I came up to, I just like the 15 minute entering, and then I'll look for TP targets on the 1 hour. And I know the ICT strategy as well. I know that's a big thing in the market in the industry. I followed his strategy. It works. I did the silver bullet. It does work. However, it doesn't. The timing didn't fit for my life. However, I look for like liquidity areas where it might go. So I still use parts of that strategy to kind of guide me where the price might go. So here I have it already like blocked out of my time. So I have my 1 hour time frame that I can trade. So at any given time within here, I can trade. I can enter the trade. And my confluence is whenever I get up within the last hour, the fin has to break the water, basically. Since I start at my time on the charts to be 5, so by 4 o'clock on the charts, as you can see, the fin is out the water at 4 o'clock. So I will go downstairs and then I'm religious. I'll pray first before I start trading, and then that way I'm fully alone. Everybody's still asleep, so I'm fully left alone. Nobody can mess with me. So it's only me that's blocking me. So I'll come downstairs. I'll just wait and see what price is doing around the moving averages and everything, and then I entered roughly about here. So I entered roughly a little bit, probably about here. So I entered right at this candle. And then I have my fixed stop loss, which is about 25 to 30 pips. One of those two. So it's 25 or 30. That's my only two options. There's no smaller to make a larger risk to reward. I don't really care for that. I just want to make sure that I know exactly how much I'm losing. Like the winning is like we talked, it can go to infinity and beyond. However, I had to focus on making sure I knew exactly how much I was going to lose. If I walked away and never looked at the chart again and let it hit stop loss, I know for sure this is it. As you see, like this candle, it almost wicked me out. It came within maybe like 3 pips of waking me out. And then I was at work, and then I have a smartwatch, so I just wait for my watch to go off, and it dropped. So price just dropped. Like I had my TP1 set here. Once it reaches my TP1, that's when I start trailing, because I know that it's a good bit of profit. So now it's time to start making sure I don't give too much back if the market pull back against me. And then I have TP2 here. So I have it like a little bit spaced out just to see if market is going to just smash through. And then if it just smashes through my TP1 like it did here, then I'll set my trailing stop maybe like up here, right above TP1, and then just monitor it as much as I can, as work would allow me to. If work doesn't allow me to keep looking, I'll just set it there, and then I'll just walk away. And then whenever I have time to look at the market again, then whatever happens, happens. At least I locked in something. Like this would have been one of those trades if I would have let it run. So I put my TP3 here because that was a big liquidity area, the sell side liquidity from ICT area. However, I got out somewhere up in here after TP1, and at first I was like, I just felt good about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna let this run. I was like, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna let it run. And then my watch went off and TP1 was hit. I was like, no. I was like, no, I can't give back too much, because I was like, no. And then, because in my mind, since I don't control price, I always look at, if price, when it's pulling back against me, it's going to keep going. It's going to just go straight to my stop loss. I've been in those moments where it's like, I should have just closed out the trade, or I should have moved my stop loss to collect some profit I never would have lost. So that's when I changed my mentality of like, just take it. Just take what I can get. If it's a good profit, I at least let it hit TP1 at least. Once it hit TP1, take whatever the market gives me, and I walk away. And I can live to see another day. So then, as you can see, it came down and smashed TP1 and TP2. And then today, I didn't know news was hitting at 8 o'clock. And then news came and just smashed. And it took all the way to TP3. And it was... I measured it. If I would have stayed from start to finish, it would have been like almost 200 pips. It would have been a significant amount of profit. However, I know me, I'm not going to, I was like, nah, I don't want to risk it, because as you can see, price with GEA, it does what it wants from time to time, and it's going to move whichever direction. It's going to move heavy. And as you see, it bounced back and forth in this area. And I was like, this could have just took back up, broke the 140 EMA and took off and took me out, and I would have been mad. So I was like, well, it was a good trade. I knew it was right. It was just, I said it there, and I just look at it like just to see if it would have went if I did it. And I'm okay with it now. So I had to learn to get okay with missing these larger moves. However, by me taking the smaller ones, and that's how I was able to get the payouts I've been getting. Right. And I pending is just take what I can get, because the market, and not to be greedy anymore, because I used to be really, really, I was like, come on, market, just give me two more pips, just come on, 2 more, and then it reverses, it goes, take all of my money. I was like, great.
That's how it works.
So I was like, and that's pretty much what I go through like every morning. So like this morning I woke up, and right here at 5 o'clock on the chart. So then by 4 o'clock, which is this candle right here, the fin isn't out the water. So I went back to sleep. I rolled over, went straight back to sleep. And I was like, yes. And then like, and none of them today, it did the fish out the water, or fin out the water, however everybody wants to categorize it or say it. However, I know what I'm looking for, and if it's not there, I don't care. I'll look at what the market does later. I was like, I wonder what it did today, and I'll go look when I have time or my like on my lunch break, I'll look at the market. It's like, oh snap, news hit. Oh, it smashed my TP3. Oh, that's nice. However, I was like, it doesn't matter because then I'll be chasing price like I used to back in the day. And I was like, nah, I'll just wait my turn, and then I'll wait till tomorrow, and then I'll repeat it. If the fin comes out, then I'll look to get in. If the fin doesn't come out, I just roll back over, go back to sleep.
God blessed you with some extra rest that day then. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing this and diving into kind of your daily routine. That's amazing. So how would you say you measure like your success? Like what metric system do you use to make sure that you're on track with your goals and everything you want to accomplish?
At first, I used to do, like, with me being budget and finance, I do my own budget of spreadsheets and stuff. I tried the journaling thing, and I was like, I'm not big on journaling because I don't do too much of that for my own personal life. So I was like, and then work, I was like, I don't even do that much there either because we do a more of an accounting system that does it for us. What I did was I just pay attention to, like, from May 1st of 2020, when I took my first trade, how did I feel? When I took that trade, I was like, I thought I was the man. I thought I was gonna hit. I thought I was gonna hit the grand slam. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be fully transparent. I thought I was gonna hit a
That's
grand
okay.
slam.
You gotta have confidence in this industry, right?
Yeah, of course. So I thought I was gonna hit the grand slam, and I was like, nope. Then every time I took a trade, a challenge, I'll keep the challenges, and I'll go back, and when I open up another one, I'll go back and look at the last one that I lost, and I was like, why? I like the question why, because it paints the bigger picture instead of a yes or no answer. So what am I doing? Why am I trading like this? Like, I know in my head, I know this is not going to work. I know 100% it's not going to make me money. It's not going to give me more financial stability to help my family, my immediate family, my wedding, my goals, my personal goals I have. I know it's not going to help me. So why keep doing that? And I just look at my bank account, and I was like, okay, this challenge was this one, then that one, then this one. I was like, okay, stop doing that. So as I started to continue to see that the challenges stopped coming out of, like, challenge fees stop coming, that's when I started measuring my success. It's not, of course, I can go with how much money I put into Forex as a whole versus how much I've made. To me, that doesn't define me, because it's like I need to visually see that, and it's like I can clearly see that challenge fees came out of my bank account, and I can see it, and I can see that trend go down instead of continue going up. So that's how I measure my success.
Got it. And I think it's really good that you have a vision and a why behind why you're, doing this. You have your family, your wedding, and you want to create that stability for your family. And I think that's incredible. Diving into kind of the more difficult things, like what's the biggest challenge you think you have faced so far in your career trading, and how'd you overcome it?
The biggest challenge was believing that I owned the market, believing that if I opened up a trade, it was 100% gonna be profit. Like, that was my biggest thing. And how I overcame it is overtrading. And because some things, like, we can watch YouTube videos, I can talk with you, I can talk with traders that has millions of payouts and been trading for years. However, some things you have to just find out for yourself. And I'm glad, I too am glad that I learned that overtrading is something I had to find out for myself, and I had to understand what it felt like. Because I can Google it, I can watch YouTube, like, oh, don't open up more than 2 trades, 3, 4, 5, XYZ based on strategy. I had to understand what that meant, because until I figured it out, because I would have just been still doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's like, this isn't overtrading. And I was like, wait a minute, it is. And that's why I failed this one. Oh, and that's why I made this profit, but then I lost all of it in one move because I was overtrading 4 or 5 more trades when I just won one big one that wiped out all the normal ones. And I kept trying to think, like, hey, I know I own the market. I love the market. I'm a finance guy. I understand how markets move and XYZ. And I was like, I could do it. trade, 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 trade. And the more I kept looking at the charts, I was just over trading. So that's how I overcame that biggest thing of me trying to control the market and say, like, every time I enter a trade, I'm going to win. So once I figured that out and felt that, now I know that when I enter a trade, if it hits my stop loss, it hits it. At least I know that I did what I wanted to do, and I entered based on what I saw and based on my strategy. There's no ifs, ands, buts of what happens next.
You're spot on, and I think it's such a personal experience for traders, right? Like you said, there's so many valuable resources out there, YouTube and articles and websites, but a lot of those are opinion pieces based on that person's, personal experience, and finding out what works best for you and your family and what you want to accomplish is something that a lot of people it's difficult to grasp, right? They think, if the strategy works for one person, it's got to work for me, but that very well not be the case. So I think that's great that you have a good handle and a good grasp on that concept for sure. And I think that's only going to help you be super successful. Yeah, I think that's amazing. So what advice would you give somebody who wants to start a career in trading? So take yourself, go back 10 years. Like, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself starting this career over again?
First, I would definitely say, I know it's bad, it's going to be bad saying this, is to do a little bit of strategy hopping, a little bit, but with smaller amounts. I would say don't go do like $100 and then just do strategy hopping with that $100 before you go buy accounts and stuff like that and challenges, or start trading larger funds of your own personal. So that way you can figure out first what works for your lifestyle first. Because like we were just talking, one strategy may not work for you, but it worked for me and vice versa. However, you will find that out later, 3 years later, like me. So it's like, take that first $100 and save it up, spin it, and just do like just do 0.01 lots, and then just try every different strategy and then see how it fits your life. And then once you figure out the strategy that fits your life, then start going larger, because now you already done built the foundation that you found that strategy, and then you just added money to it.
Spot on. Per usual. You're correct. And if you don't mind me asking, what account size do you have with Smart Prop Trader currently?
So I have two 200K accounts funded. So I trade them with the trade copier, the social trader tools.
Awesome. And after this next payout, how much have you been paid out from SPT so far?
Based on this one coming up, total it'd be a little bit 25K.
That's awesome. we love payouts. And I don't know if you saw Ryan's, if you're on Twitter or anything, but Ryan, our COO, literally sent a payout while he was driving on the freeway. He I don't condone texting and driving anybody. I want to preface that, but he is so great at the payouts and loves just making the payouts quick and easy for all traders. But yeah, we're on top of the payouts and want you guys to feel special and supported throughout all this. So we appreciate that so much. And lastly, just would you mind sharing your experience with SPT so far?
So my experience with SPT has been amazing. So I've had a funded account before, and that overtrading I had to learn, and I lost the funded account. I want to say maybe within the first 5 days, because I was overtrading. Then I came back, and then ever since I came back to SPT, it's been amazing. Like the payouts, like Ryan, the CEO, I'll submit my payout request, and then literally less than 24 hours later, it's approved. So I know a lot of traders do they do payouts? Do they do payouts? Yes, it's 100% yes, they do, and it's super fast, and and support team is amazing. Even with, of course, everything going on right now with the different payout methods. Like when I reached out to support, I know Christian, he's a support guy. he helped me out tremendously. I was talking to him like multiple days, and I can't remember his last name. I'm sorry, Kristen. However, he was amazing. Like he helped me. Like every question I had, he answered it like right back. And like if he needed time to research, he came back to me, and everything. And then even the honor to be able to do an interview. I thank you. I thank you all
Oh,
for actually allowing me to be interviewed.
of
And
course.
that speaks highly of the company too, because it shows that you care about everybody. And like, hey, like let's talk to the traders a little bit. That's just communicate. Yeah, you can communicate through Twitter, Discord, Facebook, social media and stuff. However, getting to like hear them directly is actually really good, and I enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And I think that's one thing we want really to hit home with our community is like we have a passion and a heart behind this, and that you and our traders are at the forefront of that. So I'm glad you feel that way. And hopefully it just gets even bigger and better, and we continue this long-term, business relationship with you. So really appreciate your time today. Like I said, this will be on our YouTube channel. So definitely share with your friends as well. And yeah, hopefully many more interviews to come with you.
Yeah. Thank
Even
you.
bigger
Thank
payouts in
you.
the future.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and we'll chat soon.